Okay, something I don't know. It's come up a few times just lately, or maybe it's in my head. I don't know, but it's been bugging me. And something I've dubbed the McDonald's coffee problem, which will probably for a lot of you will say, "What the fuck is this stupid daft fat twat on about?" Well, if you're an old git like me, you will remember some time ago that an individual bought a coffee from McDonald's, burnt their mouth, and then successfully sued the company. And the result was a change in the coffee cups and labelling all over the fucking thing saying caution hot and all this sort of shit. Now, this is probably the tip of the iceberg and something that seems to have grown massively. And you see a lot just recently of people going on about the snowflake generation and, you know, I need a room, I need a cuddle. And the thing is, what we've done, in my opinion, as a society, is that instead of teaching idiots and sort of letting that natural selection thing take place, we've adapted, we've accommodated, and we've changed the rules to keep idiots safe. The problem is then idiots don't learn. Now, if you buy a cup of coffee, which is in a compressed paper cup, then it is hot. It is a hot drink. We know this. We're taught this from a young child that tea and coffee are hot drinks. Not only do we know this, but also the cup is hot. You feel it in your hand. Even with the silly little cardboard plastic sleeve, you still feel the heat from the cup. And if that's not enough of an indication, when it gets close to your mouth, you sense the hot air rising out of the hole. So therefore, if you then go drink that and burn yourself, you're a fucking retard. And you deserve to burn yourself. However, once you have burnt yourself, the chances are you will not do it again. It's part of our learning process as children, in that we do something, it creates pain or discomfort, either by the action of what we do or the subsequent punishment for doing something wrong, and so we don't do it again because we want to avoid that pain. But we seem to have removed that in society. So now there is no consequence. We see this online. You post something that is fucking dumb, and someone comments that it is fucking dumb, and then that person's jumped on for being a cyberbully. No, they're not a cyberbully. A cyberbully is someone who targets an individual, who goes out of their way to attack that person unprovoked. If you put something on social media, then you put it on social media and you open yourself up for criticism. Fuck me, I've been called every name under the fucking sun. I've had my marriage questioned. I've had my sexuality questioned. I've had the treatment of my children questioned, just because of what I've done and the fact that I've publicly exposed myself. But that comes with the territory. So if you're going to post something on a public forum, then you can expect public ridicule if what you post is a bit stupid. If you put a shit physique up and ask for comment, you will get comments that reflect that your physique is shit. If you're fat, you'll get comments that you are overweight. So if you don't like that or you can't handle that, then don't fucking do it. Simple as. Don't poke a lion with a stick and then moan when the lion fucking bites you. But we don't do this. Oh, it's bullying, you can't do that. Oh no, no, that's bullshit. If you put yourself out there, then expect consequences. But it is those consequences that make us learn. Because then we look at what we've put out there and we go, yeah, maybe it was a bit daft. Or maybe I shouldn't have said that. Or maybe I am fat. Or maybe I do have a shit physique. Obviously, we can just go in complete denial and say everybody's haters. That's fine. That's in personal price. But this carries across into so many aspects of life. As many of you know, I've been involved with security for a large portion of my life. Now, I'm not involved in it anymore directly, though I do sort of help my mate's company out now and again. And it's the same there. Since door staff were regulated within the UK and badges were brought into position, so you need to have a license now to work on a door, just for those overseas that don't realise this, Customers know this, and they know that one complaint against your license causes you problems. Now, you go back before licensing, and you weren't gobby to doorman because you knew if you were gobby to a doorman, you'd get a slap. That isn't bullying. That is a consequence of your actions. Go back to the poking line, you get bit thing. Now, because of licensing, doormen don't get physical. They're quite powerless to intimidate or do anything to put you in control. Now, don't get me wrong. I don't condone doormen beating the living crap out of a student for the sake of it. That's ridiculous. But if you're a gobby little twat with a bad attitude and you're kicking off and you're playing up, then yeah, a cuff round the ear is not actually a bad thing. And it teaches you that there is a consequence to your actions. It teaches you that if you're going to disrespect people, it may cause you pain. I respected my father. Now, I didn't respect him when I was a kid. I feared him because if I did something wrong, I was going to get a crack. That turned into respect. Now, if I was reserved that, now don't get me wrong, my father never hit me very often, but the fear of that kept me in line to some degree. Now, if I never had that fear, then what was to keep me in line? I was too young to know about respect. I was too young to know about the consequences of my actions later on in life, and I still majorly fucked up anyway. But the point is that it was the fear of repercussions that kept me under control to some degree. And it's the same with people now. People are very quick to gob off, very quick to be attitude, very quick to this, that and the other because they don't fear consequences, because there are no consequences anymore. And this carries over into all sorts of aspects. You know, because we had some bad snow. Now, the last couple of days it wasn't too bad. The roads were fairly clear, but my kids' school was still closed. It wasn't closed because teachers couldn't get into school. It was closed because the school fears that if my child falls in the playground because of icy and snowy conditions, that I'm going to try and start some sort of lawsuit against them. If my kid slips on the snow and hurts their hand, their wrist, their ankle or whatever, then that's their fault. I don't blame anybody. They went out into a dangerous environment and they had an accident. It's as simple as that. It's not the teacher's responsibility to stop my kid from slipping in the snow. It's my kid's responsibility. Now, when my kid falls over and hurts themselves, they then learn that when you fall in snow, it hurts. So next time they're in snow, they're a little bit more careful. But we don't do that. We don't let them suffer consequence, so we remove that learning curve. So now we've got a generation of people. My eldest daughter's 19. She hasn't got a fucking clue. She can't cope with life because she's never had to deal with life. She's never had that learning curve. She's never had to face consequences because she's always been protected, a mistake I made as a parent. We learn from experience. We learn from negative experience. If we don't experience negativity, we don't always learn in a positive manner. Positive learning doesn't always work. If we don't suffer consequences of our actions, wherever they may be, then we don't learn from them. So by society protecting people and changing the rules to accommodate idiots, idiots don't learn, they stay idiots, and they breed more idiots. I genuinely see a dumbing down of society, not from an intellectual point of view, from a common sense point of view, from a life skills point of view. People, mental health seems to be a big thing at the moment, and everyone seems to suffer it. Now, I know it's easy for people to put labels on things, and it does a disservice for those that generally do suffer with mental health problems. But also, I think more people do suffer with mental health because more people can't cope, because more people haven't learned coping mechanisms because they've been wrapped in bubble wrap and protected from the world. Bring back a copper, a local copper that gave you a clout around the head for being a bad one, dragged you back to your mum and dad, and then your mum and dad gave you a bollocking for it as well because you brought the old police to the door. These days, if a copper even lays a hand on the child, the parents are trying to sue the police. So what does that child learn? That child learns that the police aren't to be respected and the rules are to be broken because you can get away with it. That's ridiculous, but that's what we're teaching in society today. Don't get me wrong, there is bullying and there is stuff that goes too far, but that's a completely separate matter. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about consequence for action. I'm talking about people being responsible for what they say and do and facing the consequences of what they say and do, and not hiding behind bullying or PC terms and bullshit like that. If you put an exercise video online of a squat and your knee bending, you're going to get pulled for it. Don't then hype and moan about haters and bitchiness and bullying. It's not bullying, it's just the truth. You just don't want to face the truth. If you gob off to somebody and you're a cheeky individual and you show no respect, then in my eyes, a slap round the back of the head is well warranted. No, you don't take the person in the corner and beat the living crap out of them. That's ridiculous. But a clout is deserved. Because I tell you now, if more gobby little shits got clouts, they wouldn't be gobby little shits anymore. They would learn to respect people. Because they would suffer a consequence that created pain for them. It's ridiculous. It really is. We live in a society now that just seems to accommodate and adapt and change the rules to help idiots, instead of dealing with the root problems, which is their behaviour, and making them face the consequences of that behaviour. Anyway, I've ranted on enough, so I'm going to get off because I've got a podcast to do at 10 and it's 7 minutes to. So, take care, guys, and I'll speak to you soon.